We're live. Oh, hey.
We're live.
Hey, now we're live.
No.
You want it?
Are we live?
Yeah, we're really live.
Nice.
Hello. Brandon, switch sides.
Nice.
Screw it, we'll do it live. Switch sides with me, Brandon.
No.
Oh.
Hey everyone, welcome.
Good side. Hello.
Hey everyone, welcome to Waldo's. No, sorry, no. I am Mr. Create. No, not that. Oh man, I'm blocking your way.
No,
Okay, I'm just gonna go like this then.
Perfect.
Hi.
What's up?
Hey everyone, who's in the stream right now?
Daniel.
We got Daniel up in here, Freedom for Dave, and Kevin. Yeah, Kevin just made a video.
What's up,
Did you see
Kevin?
that?
What up, Kevin? No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Kevin has
Freedom
his
for
own
Dave.
YouTube channel, and he's been making Webflow videos.
Nice.
Yes.
Tweet me, man. Yes.
Yeah.
Tweet me all the links. Please.
Yes, tweet us all the links. Put the links in the chat room, Kevin. But yeah, thank you for joining me today. So this is kind of different because I usually am back at home.
Riley.
What's up? What? Oh, it's Riley. Yeah, so I am not doing a Webflow. This is a Webflow stream. Yeah, I'm not doing a tutorial, but letting you meet some of the folks behind the support tickets and the intercom chats and everything in between, and just chill with us. And if you have any questions about life at Webflow, or want to know how we got into Webflow, this is the time. This is the time. And so, just wanted you guys to see behind the scenes of what's happening at Webflow. And so we're all here in San Francisco, chilling, checking out the new office. And yeah. Oh, Kevin put his link. Can I show it?
Nice.
Yes.
Awesome.
Subscribe to Kevin's channel. If you're watching the recording, do that. So I try to stream every other day, and today we're here in San Francisco with the rest of the team. Why are we here? Check out or just to hang out?
Here to be as a team
Together.
Yeah.
We're together. We're all remote, so it's cool to get
the
to
US-based team members from the success team are here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The new office. Wait, did Riley see the office?
Yes. Riley was here a few weeks ago for Epic Currents. He rode with Vlad, and I think Pablo and Taylor all standing.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah,
he got to see it. This is my first time seeing it. First time here. Was it your first time?
Yeah,
So
it's my first time everything.
Everyone's
Yeah,
first
it's my
time.
first time at this
Oh,
office.
yeah.
Anyway.
What percentage of the Webflow team is remote? I think
We're over 65%.
65.
Over
Yeah.
65%.
Yep. So that's of like 60, 70 people. 60,
Yeah.
70 people.
Hey, Freedom for Dave, what's up?
Yeah, Freedom for Dave is saying, hey guys, I'm 20 years old. Ooh, youngin'. I've always been interested in design since I was a kid. I first started using Photoshop when I was 13.
Nice.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Keep at it. Love making design as well as websites, and Webflow is awesome. So happy to grind and learn all that I can.
That's what's up, man.
Woo!
Let's do it.
Like when you teach the kids how to design, and then like they just
Oh,
wanna.
come on, you're all kids, man.
I'm a kid at heart.
Yes.
No, it's cool that you have so much experience in Photoshop, though. That translates really well to design.
It does, yes.
Translates really well there.
Yeah, keep at it. And thank you so much
That's
for being
awesome.
on the stream. So one thing I wanted to talk about was like everyone's Webflow story. So you probably know all of these folks from the forums or from their own YouTube channel or on Twitter, whatever. But how did we actually end up here? Oh, you okay?
We're good.
Look at half of your smile.
Can we get more Micah in the camera?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's there.
Yeah,
It's just the
Okay.
chat's on.
He's
Oh,
there.
okay. We're looking at a TV.
Yeah, we're looking at the TV right now. Here, let me throw
Can
this.
you resize it a little bit?
There we go.
There, is that better?
Make it a little more responsive.
Oh, I can't make OBS responsive.
You should use Magnet.
What?
Yes. It's an application. It's wonderful.
It'll let you resize your windows intelligently.
Yes.
I use Spectacle. Yeah, this is whatever. Anyways, let's go around with how did we get here? And you want to start with Micah, or since you're
Okay.
Get off, Laser.
Oh, go ahead.
I think
Well,
we
we
should go this
start
way.
with Waldo, because are you on the hiring bench here? Is this what's happening?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you're the first, you're the start. Sort of.
No, Nelson.
Nelson was here before me. Yeah.
I think we should go from newest, like youngest, to
Oh,
oldest.
boy.
Okay.
I
So-
see where this is going. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, not youngest then.
I mean, the
But-
youngest
Oh!
one.
Youngest
Yeah.
Webflow member.
All right.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. This is my very first appearance on anything on YouTube or pretty much in a photograph.
Welcome to the internet.
Yeah. And I'm the newest customer support member, and I'm the first one who did not come kind of from the fandom world or was a Webflow freelance designer and successful at doing that. I was hired strictly for my customer experience skills and background and my journalism career. So I'm kind of known as a writer, which makes me proud. I try not to say, oh, I know I'm a writer. But that is one thing that I really enjoy doing. And I have been at Webflow for a whopping 2 months. And in that time, I have gone on a company trip to Portugal and a company trip to San Francisco. So I'm pretty thrilled. I really love to travel. I work remote, and that works really well for me. I think that the whole remote opportunity for people, even outside Webflow, is crazy cool in terms of diversity because it has opened up lucrative and rewarding job opportunities for people who struggle in an office setting. For instance, people who might have anxiety issues. I have really a lot of trouble sleeping, so I can work flexible hours. And I think here at Webflow, we are really breaking ground in opening that up to people and really succeeding at it. And that's one reason why we're here in San Francisco right now, is because a remote team like us, we're scattered around the globe.
Yeah.
And the more FaceTime we can get, not just on the team, but with the other members of our company, which I think totals about 75 now. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions about how this all works, because this is the future for a lot of us, and diversity means a lot of different things to different people. And I have a ton of friends who now can support their families and themselves in ways that they couldn't back when you had to be commuting or in an office. So that's kind of my story. That's the thing that is just really sticking with me right now after only being here 2 months, is that we talk about diversity all day long.
Yeah.
Because that is what Webflow's altruistic heart beats on.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think about the most, I think, in terms of that.
Yeah, it's very diverse. I mean, this whole team right here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super diverse. Yeah.
Whole success team is remote.
Yeah. Yep.
What's up, David Martin?
David
What's
Martin.
up?
Oh yeah, hey.
David,
what's up,
Steven.
Hey.
Oh, Steven.
Hello.
Hey.
I agree. I love how efficient opportunity becomes
Yeah. Love how okay, should I read it out loud?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Dave says, Freedom for Dave says, I agree. I love how efficient and optimized tools are becoming for entrepreneurs. Really is great. It really is creating so many opportunities. Thank you all so much. You guys are really making a huge impact on the space. Yeah. I mean, we just help support it. We're fans just like you guys. But I mean, it's the whole team. It's the engineers who build things. There's the product managers who help facilitate that. It's the customer success that makes sure that if bugs are seen, we push it back to developers and say, hey, please fix. It's just
a team effort.
Yeah, it's a huge team effort.
What's up, Spencer? What's up, Spencer?
Oh,
Hey, Spencer
hey,
and
Spencer.
Steven.
Designer news in the house. Yeah. Yeah.
Micah.
Micah's the next
Oh,
news.
yeah.
Wow.
Mr. Create.
Yeah. Plug that channel.
Nice. Mr. Crazy. Yeah, my story.
That's a fun.
Long story short, the forum was the first time I ever got an opportunity to kind of be a part of the community. I've never done anything like that before. Never did Reddit, was rarely on Facebook, didn't really do Twitter and things of that nature, but jumped on the forum to answer like one question and was really geeked to feel the response and the love from like helping somebody. And then just continued from there. And after that was just kind of enamored with the opportunity to like be a part of people's lives that I didn't know or would never see, but was able to help. And after that was able to meet Waldo at a meetup. He like walked into a meetup, didn't know he was gonna be there. Walked in with a shirt like this, and I was walking in. I had already been in there, and he came in and he was wearing this shirt, looking like an angel. I was like, there's somebody else that knows Webflow. Like, yes, like this. No, I'm dead serious because the company that I was with, it was like almost pulling teeth trying to explain Webflow to them. It was still very new to. I mean, it still is kind of. And so to see somebody else who also, I mean, he was an employee, so to be able to kind of geek out with somebody else, it was really, really exciting. And then after that, continued to be a part of the forum, and he reached out to me to be a part of the team, and yeah, the rest is history. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. Waldo's an angel.
He's an angel.
Webflow angel.
Webflow, hashtag Webflow angel. Every time you mention him on Twitter now, it has to be hashtag Webflow angel.
We're gonna have to change his forum handle too.
Yes, actually, I have admin panels. I can do that.
Yeah.
Someone Photoshop that real quick.
Yeah, I hope when it's Waldo's turn, you talk about what the challenges are in your position as hiring a remote team.
Oh,
how
yeah,
you
that'd
make
be
that,
good.
how you find the glue.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I mean, I love hiring wonderful people. That's why y'all are here. And of course, Nelson was already here.
Yeah, I was already
Glad-
going to say you
glad-
didn't hire me.
Yeah.
Glad loves hiring
That's
wonderful
what
people. Like amazing people who are passionate. Love Webflow, love our mission, and I mean, working remote. I love working remotely. I hate driving. It's my
Yes.
least favorite thing to do. Yeah, it comes with challenges. Like people are in all different time zones. Like Sonia's in Portugal, Dave's in Finland. We've got Brandon on the East Coast. Andrew, Micah, and I, and Lily, all in the Midwest. And Nelson's on the West Coast.
The hot
Yeah.
customer support.
Yeah,
Stu.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So I'm Stu's in the UK. So, yes.
You're making it diverse.
What's up,
Yeah.
Ethan and V?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's some
yeah.
questions
Some
too
new
that popped
And
up.
Vit and
Spencer
Kieran.
asked-
Kieran.
Where'd you get those glasses, Mr.
Oh,
P?
get closer.
Yeah.
Show off your glasses.
Oh.
Yeah, here.
Oh, they're always, that's what he does. He does.
Oh, yes.
And then 1, 2, 3, go. All right, let's intro for this.
First time he's ever seen them. He didn't know where they were. What's in my head?
These are just like blue light blockers. So they're not prescription, they're just blue light blockers. I originally got them because an employee, a friend of mine, mentioned or saw me squinting at the screen and like hunched over. So as you can see, like these, the blue light is reflected off. So it kind of helps with the strain on my eyes. But yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm
for
doing.
sure.
Nice.
Yep.
Super helpful.
Yeah.
So he says.
Yeah, Vit says, hey guys, I love what you're doing. I found out about Webflow about 2 weeks ago, and since then building a second website.
Woo!
Never built one before. Ooh,
That's
you
awesome.
never built a site
Send us a
before.
link.
Yes.
Yes.
On Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, post a link on Twitter or something.
Yeah, tweet it out.
DM one of the people who I mentioned. We're all here. And said, Nelson, love your streams. Thank you so much.
Binge watched many of them.
Yes.
Is that
And
what
just
we do?
Yeah,
Do we
that's
binge watch
basically
it?
what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just love listening to McGuire. You spelled it right. Well, except the A
Close,
in
yeah.
McGuire, so
Yeah.
you're
It's
close.
like Mick, like McDonald's.
Yeah, Mick.
Mick Jagger, Mick Guire.
McGuire.
Yeah, and the rest of you guys are doing a great
Thanks,
job.
V. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, but we all binge watch Nelson's streams for sure.
Yes.
We all like started off on those.
Oh man, yes.
It's true.
Oh,
They
man.
kind of binge watch me at night while I sleep. It's kind of creepy.
He doesn't turn his camera off.
Oh, yeah, I should turn it off.
24/7.
Kieran.
What's up, Kieran?
Hey guys, great to see you all. I think it's a great reflection of the core Webflow focus that the customer success, not just customer support. Yes, I
Yeah.
love that when you change
Yeah.
support to success.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
but it used to be customer happiness heroes.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was happiness.
But I mean, I don't want anyone to think they have to be a hero to save the day. Like we're here to help make our customers successful. That's why
Yeah.
we're here. I mean, we offer product support,
Yeah.
and I mean, we will answer any questions that you send their way to the
Yeah.
best of our ability,
Mm-hmm.
as well as like
But it's
bringing the
not
community.
just support.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
It's
just support.
Like
Success.
we
We want
want
you
to
to
make
be
sure that
successful.
Empowering, yeah. Give you the
and
tools.
empower you. So, any questions, send them our way, please.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Daniel
What's
is
up,
a
Daniel?
new user and still getting to know Webflow. So far, I love it.
Yeah.
Don't let Adobe buy Webflow.
It's gonna be the other way around.
Yeah.
We are not for sale.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I think Vlad
Yeah, Vlad's
actually.
posted quite a few times on the forum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he posted on the forum that we're not gonna sell out, and he also mentioned it in the live Q&A that we're not going to. So don't you
We have a
worry.
really big mission, so.
Yeah.
What am I doing with all these stock options then?
That's all I'm here for.
Yeah, wait, how many did you get?
It's not a contest.
Donald, what's up?
What's up,
Dave?
Donald?
Yeah, dude, Donald's been crazy on the forums.
Yes, he
Yeah.
has.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Donald.
Epic.
Thank you.
Thank you, yes.
David binged one of Nelson's streams till like 3 a.m. the other day.
Nice.
Dang.
Was
There's
that
time to learn. You can go to sleep. That's crazy.
Sometimes you just gotta know more about Webflow though.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
There's so many. Again, like whenever I tell someone about Webflow, I'm like, it's a rabbit hole. It's like almost never ending, and then we add a new feature, and you're like, how far does this go?
There are over 3,000 buttons in the interface.
You counted?
No, I know there were over 3,000 buttons in the interface like 2 years ago.
Wow.
So that was 2 years ago. So it's more like over 5,000 or 6,000 buttons at least.
Over 9,000.
So think about how much you can do with that.
Dang.
Push all the buttons.
Freedom for Dave. Have you guys all had a play with e-commerce features? Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I played around with them.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
Play
you'll
around
see
with it.
soon, but-
We saw a demo,
Mhm.
but I mean,
Yeah.
we can't talk about it more beyond that.
Mhm.
We can't give any dates or anything, but what's the word we
Yeah.
always use?
Soon.
It's coming.
We hate that word internally.
Somebody's going through it.
Here's the thing. We're not working to like hit a specific date. We're here to hit or provide you value.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like we want you to have the best feature possible.
Not a confused number, but. What about these guys' stories?
Oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah, Andrew, I think
Andrew's next.
Andrew's
Oh,
next.
I need to get water.
Hey everybody, I am Andrew Nelson. You guys might have talked to me in Intercom. Yes, I do live support. That's my primary focus, and my secondary objectives, I do operations stuff for the team. So I really like serving my teammates and the customers, but I started here at Webflow just last October. Before that, I'd been freelancing full time, and I love freelancing, and I still like to empower other freelancers. And I think I've known Waldo now for like 7 years, and he has wanted me to work at Webflow for quite some time. But freelancing, it's fun because you can be lazy if you want to, and you can be like, you know what, I'm gonna sleep in until 11.
Yeah.
So
Not once in your life.
so Waldo was talking to me, and he told me about. He's like, okay, so you know the Webflow community. I spend my lunch breaks as a freelancer watching Nelson stream, and every day I would just be like, every Tuesday I'd be like, oh man, okay, so I can learn a little bit more and get a little bit better every week at web design. Like it doesn't matter what he's covering, I learn something new every time. If he's rebuilding a website, or if he's just going over specific interactions, or if he's talking about CMS structures and design, every single time I learn something. So I was doing this, and I was really getting to know more of the Webflow community. And Waldo was like, okay, well, Brandon works for Webflow, you know Brandon. I work for Webflow, you know me. Nelson works for Webflow. You've watched a lot of internet videos of Nelson.
Just Webflow ones.
Just the Webflow ones.
Just Webflow.
Are there other
videos.
ones? Okay. Yeah, so, he really wanted me to consider doing it. And I got to meet Vlad Magdalene, who's our founder, and co-founder, yes. And hearing him talk about the mission of Webflow, which is empowering people, that really resonated with me. Basically, maybe 1 out of 200 human beings can develop with code, can actually do software engineering. And maybe out of those 1 out of 200 people, half of those people are just hobbyists. So all of human innovation is bottlenecked by a lack of developers. And it's imagine being a kid and you want to get something out of the cabinet, but you're just too short and you can't do it. That's still me as an adult. But there's a lot of people out there with great ideas, and they don't have a tool or a medium or a channel in which they can express themselves and put their ideas out into the world. And when Vlad was talking about this, and I was like, man, this guy knows what he wants, and he wants to help hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people and give them the freedom to express themselves and change the world. I was like, this guy's a good guy. The team's a good team, and literally every designer that I've ever met that used Webflow is like insanely talented. So I ended up doing a trial week in San Francisco last October, and I'm back here in San Francisco right now.
Almost a year.
Almost a year.
And
Coming up.
anniversary date.
My trial was October 3rd.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
It's real
Early
fast.
1 year anniversary. Yay!
But seriously, here's one thing I'd love to say to the customers and everybody who watches this for all time. Sometimes you guys write to us and you're like, oh, I'm sorry to bother you, but I was wondering about this, or my interactions were broken here. I don't want to bother you. You are never, ever bothering us. And every single one of us, like, we have sat in the designer and looked at the same bugs or had issues with like a nav bar that's not working the way you want it to, or like we tried to figure out how to do something and things are just not spaced the way it is. Like, we've sat in those shoes too, and we understand what it's like. So it's like our greatest joy to wake up every day and say, we get to help other people build their things, like build their sites, build their business, build their mom's antique collection online, whatever it is. Like, you get to build that and we get to help you, and like, that's an honor and a privilege for us. So,
Tell us.
yeah. Let us know if you ever need help. We got you.
Yes, we got you. That was nicely put.
Very well said.
Great job. Great job.
Yes,
Luke
Oh, we
is
had some extra
Luke
questions.
is in here.
What's up, Luke?
What's up, man? Can't wait for e-commerce. Yeah, man.
Kevin,
Yeah, we can't
What a
wait.
philosopher.
Kevin
Yes.
says, Kevin
Yes.
says, do y'all know if there are any new interaction actions in the pipeline?
Can you tell me what
Like
you're referring
position,
to?
Oh, like
Position.
new
Position, like
action, yeah, like being able to.
static, absolute.
I don't know what the use case would be there.
I mean, one use case for me is like the filters, like a drop shadow or something like that. You know, like when I
Like
have
CSS filters.
Yeah, like CSS.
Oh, more CSS properties?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, one thing that
I know
actually
that
struck
Tyler
me-
was working on something like that.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Because,
Like, so
one-
you can like set it to blur. I feel
Ooh,
yeah, like those kind of
yeah.
filters.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. And he
That'd be
said,
cool.
no, I mean like for left,
Oh
right.
yeah,
et cetera.
positioning, like so, like if it's absolute
Yeah.
position, left right position.
Yeah.
I suppose you can accomplish that with transform a bit.
Child selectors.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine?
Yes.
Like, can you,
As child
like, can you
selectors
imagine
as well.
if you're using the blur? I just another thing.
Oh,
like,
there's a lot you can do.
If
just
you
to
scroll
blur.
down,
Mhm.
like think of the Bear Grylls parallax,
Yeah.
okay?
Oh.
As you scroll down,
Mhm.
the things are moving back, right?
Yeah,
That was
The things that
also
are
more
moving-
chopped.
Yeah.
The things that
I
are
love
moving
that
back,
Mhm.
what if they can also blur out
Mhm. Yeah.
at the same time as
Exactly.
this is
Well, what you
scrolled?
can do is you can take an identical copy of that absolute position on top
Mhm.
and blur that top copy and then drop or raise the opacity.
Yeah, just see the
Yeah.
opacity.
Yeah, it's with an image.
Mhm.
Everybody, by the way, if you're like, man, I don't really understand like perspectives and children and parent elements and z-axis, like what is the z-axis? The really cool interaction you did, was it the Bear Grylls website where you did the parallax?
Waldo did Bear Grylls.
Oh, that you?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes,
Waldo.
watch that one.
I did the CMS illustration rebuild. That one was more 3D.
Yeah.
If you want an idea of 3D, and that was like real time building it with
Yeah.
commentary.
Yeah.
That was my first live stream.
That was so cool.
Yes. Also,
Yes.
Grid is lit.
Oh,
As
yeah.
ex-
We'll
yeah.
talk,
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that soon.
Yeah.
But let's go to
It's gonna change future
Brandon's story, and then we'll get to your other questions.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Brandon. I'm Webflow Customer Success as well, obviously, but also if you've ever posted a bug on the forums, I've likely pestered you for repro steps and all that. So I work with the internal stabilization team, which we basically are a team of rotating engineers that help crush any bug that we find. So I work with that team. It's really fun, really good stuff. So that's kind of where my passion lies, just in the quality and making sure that what we have is awesome stuff. And so I love helping you guys. Like Andrew was saying, I love waking up and being able to do. We don't always have time to do all these like design help exactly, but I love doing design interaction help when I can, where I can. So it's really fun. But as far as my story, so back in 2011, I actually met this guy, same as Andrew. We all three went to the same college. So we
Missouri
met
State University.
Missouri State University. That's right, Springfield, Missouri.
Go Bears!
Go Bears!
Yeah, so we met back then. Waldo and I, fun fact, we're actually on a longboarding team together. And so we used to skate together many times. Yeah, great times. So I moved away, ended up moving to Florida. I've been there for the last 3 years. Graduated from school and all that, and I was trying to find work. I found a couple of good jobs working for a corporate bank. I won't name it, but basically it was a partial management job, and it was a lot of there's a lot of fun parts to it. But one thing I couldn't ever get behind is, every job you have is gonna have these kind of moments where you're like, this is like not fun. Why am I doing this? What is my purpose for doing this job? And every time I came back to the mission statement for that company, it just like it didn't ring true for me. It just didn't feel right. Didn't feel like I was making a difference, or that like even the work was like just inherently fulfilling. So it was just kind of getting like wearing out of me. And so finally I was just like put in my 2 weeks, and I was like, I'm done. I didn't have anything else lined up, and so I was just like super nervous, but I was trying to like basically put my just put myself to the test, I guess. So Waldo just so happened to text me during this time where I'm going through this, I call it my quarter life crisis. So he just happened to text me and be like, what's up, man? We hadn't talked for like 6 months or something. And so I just was like, this was happening. I'm like looking for a job, kind of not sure what I'm going to do. He's like, yo, dude, have you ever heard of Webflow? And I was like, no, man, I've not. So I checked it out, and he sent me the ebooks, which back then we had 2 ebooks.
Yeah.
And
Still do.
now we
We
have
have 3.
Oh, we have 3.
Yeah.
What's the third one?
I think we're at 4 now.
Is there a 4th one?
I think
Uh-oh.
so.
We work for
We better
Go to
do some
ebooks.webflow.com.
binge reading or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
ebooks.webflow.com.
you saw the
Ebooks,
books?
yeah, so I saw the books, I read through them, they were great, and then I started I was like, there's no way it's this easy. Like, cause I studied CSS and HTML in college a bit, but I never built a full web page. And then he was like, no, yeah, you should try it. So I poked around a bit, and then I hit publish, and I opened it, and I was like, no. And then I sent it to my phone, and I looked at it, I'm like, oh my god, like I just built this.
It's responsive.
No.
I was so excited. So yeah, so I dedicated so much time just to learning the tool as much as I could, and I started just picking up towers as a server and just trying to fill time in my trying to make spare money with freelancing. Waldo helped me out a lot there too. Started using Upwork and found a lot of cool clients, and just more or less tried to build a freelancing career and used a lot of local companies in St. Petersburg, Florida. And so one day I was kind of working on the forum and also helping out design stuff there. And then Waldo was like, is working for Webflow something you'd ever think about, be interested in doing? And I was like, yeah, right, one day, maybe. And then he was like, well, maybe sooner, whatever. So I started, I don't know, just trying to learn Webflow inside and out as best I could. And then I started my trial week in January 2017. And after my trial week, yeah, I was hired. And it's been a year and 9 months.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, man. So it's really a really fun journey. But I think coming back around to it, the reason I left that original, job that I thought was great, but it didn't resonate with me. One thing about Webflow that's super unique in my mind is that it is a mission statement that we can, that I feel like most people can get behind, but not just it's not a platitude. It's not just something that's meaningless to us. It is our heartbeat, man. It is to empower everybody to build and to code and to develop and design. And that is something that's, I don't know, to me that when I'm struggling through those moments where this is hard, or I don't want to be doing this right now, I think about back to our mission statement, and it just resonates so well with me that I'm like, you know what, totally worth it.
Yeah.
And plus, look at these people, they're amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Could you tell us a little bit more about what you do on the stabilization team and how that might affect our customers?
Oh yeah.
That's a good question. Yeah, so basically as Webflow has grown so much in complexity over the last, since it started obviously, but especially in the last year and a half or so, it's been kind of a race as we're trying to build as much software. With software development, you want to basically deliver value, like Waldo was saying. We're trying to deliver as much value as possible. And sometimes that means shipping early, and sometimes that means shipping later. But if we do ship a product early just to get it into your hands faster, that usually results in these regressions where we have these, little bugs here and there. So part of the stabilization team's process has been to, find a better way to kind of prioritize and categorize these issues as they become more, just as our product grows in complexity, we need to find better ways to organize and prioritize. So basically we're thinking like, what would work best to categorize all of the, to organize this. And what it came down to is you guys. We were thinking, okay, so we have a customer success team that fields all these questions and these bug reports, like how can we use that and all this like information. And we finally figured out a way to actually quantify user pain. So it's really neat. Basically what it does is we worked with some of the engineers because they're brilliant, and we have this awesome equation that helps us kind of calculate how much a specific bug would cause you pain, and then using that we're able to prioritize and categorize it into its respective code base area, and then also kind of set a timeline for when we can fix them. And it's been insanely successful. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but since January of earlier this year is kind of when we chartered that team. I mean, the designer's gotten so much snappier. It's been like, what's up, Ben? Ben Parker. So yeah, but that's kind of more or less what we do, and it's a rotational team. So every engineer has an opportunity to work there and kind of help out. And the engineers get to see some of the tickets you guys send in, which is really great for them. Yeah. So yeah, did that answer the question?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
We care about those bugs. If you guys file a bug on the forum, or you reach out to us and you're like, something is broken, we don't like put that in a filing cabinet and we're like, shh, don't tell us. We take it to the engineers who actually built it, and
The
actually
word spreads like wildfire
Yeah.
because we all talk about it.
and we jump on it real quick and we get everybody possible that we can to help. And Brandon's actually he's actually a huge driver internally. He came up with the idea of having a dedicated team to really focus on squashing these bugs, to improve performance, to make it more stable. So if you see Brandon on the forums and you're like, man, somebody fixed something in Webflow today, Brandon probably had a part in that.
Thanks, man.
And
Appreciate it.
the core mission statement he talked about, I don't know if we discussed that outside of the company, but you could do a whole podcast on that, because this is not something, just be nice, do the right thing.
Yeah.
It's challenging, and we have
Yes.
to challenge each other, and there are times I think, I'm not meeting company standards because I'm not doing something that, means reaching outside myself. It's challenging. It's interesting.
Yeah, but Andrew gave me props for that helping out with bugs. But man, truly our engineers are unbelievable.
Yes.
Like, smartest people on the planet. Like, they work so hard and build such an incredible product and work so hard to fix the issues, man. So it's the stabilization team, the engineers that have done all the work for sure.
Wow,
Yeah, they're amazing people. So if you ever see an engineer post on the forum, they come out and they post on the forum every once in a while.
Yeah.
If you see them on that forum, definitely give them a shout out and
Yeah.
say what's up, because they're awesome. They're fantastic.
I think one of my lists on my Twitter account, the list, Webflow Family, has a bunch of the engineers on there and the rest of the team. So you might want to say hi to them. They do a
Super
lot of stuff that basically they're trying to do stuff that's never been done before.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's what's amazing.
And
Pioneers.
and so that's why it's like when a new feature is coming out, we get excited because we know it's going to be so unique and it's going to work so awesome and change so many people's lives, and so it's just mind blowing what the engineers do.
It is.
So
Unbelievable.
much props to them. Yeah, and that's our culture. And you already told your Webflow story, right?
He told a bit about it. I feel like he's got a longer story. We can answer some questions.
Yeah, we can answer
yeah.
some questions.
Let me see. Let me scroll up. What is everyone's naming? Spencer asks, what is everyone's naming conventions for divs? Nelson, we know yours, which is it's non-existent. I try and keep things as semantic as possible, but I feel like I just end up being top dash div rounded last.
It's not that bad.
Perfect.
Love it.
As long as it's naming them, that's what I'm saying.
As long as you know
Can I
what's in
steal
there.
that?
If you don't have div block 136,
Yeah.
You're doing well.
That's when it starts getting out of hand, and you're like, if somebody sends us a ticket and they're like, hey, by the way, one of the div blocks on my project is messed up, and we look at it and there's like div block 102, div block 105, div block 392. We're like,
I've seen
more
next
specific.
block.
Yeah, Micah has a really good blog post on this.
Micah knows
Yeah,
this stuff.
on beam method.
But with all that, all the joking aside though, like we understand the learning process because
Yes.
I was definitely one of those.
Yeah, me
Well, previously automatic naming wasn't a part of it.
Yeah.
So we didn't have that issue, but
Right.
we all understand when we jump in there that it's a learning
Yes.
learning process. But yes, please, as you learn, try and to continue improve yourself. And I think that's what Webflow is awesome about because when I first jumped in, the amount of knowledge I had about CSS and JavaScript was very limited, and then looking, like inspecting it afterwards, really, really increased my knowledge. So definitely, even though you might be, automatically naming stuff now, continue to push yourself, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Or create 100 div blocks, but leave one number out, and then email us and be like, div block 76 is missing in my project.
No.
But we will go
Why
find
would
it.
you?
We'll try.
I'll open up the
We'll
style.
find it.
I'll open the style
Yeah.
panel. No, I'll open up. What's it called? Quick find.
CSS.
Fine.
Yes.
Quick
Quick
find.
find.
Ah.
Command K, Control K,
Control K.
sorry,
Okay.
or Command K,
Yeah.
or Command E or Control E.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, that
Work
quick
on-
where you can like the automatic class naming, that actually caused me some like, cause I'll be like, I try to stick these kind of BM kind of stuff, my own little method of class names, and then all of a sudden I'll go through my project and they'll be like, div block 7, div block 8, form block 1, and I'm like, wait, I never even gave those class names, but they have all these styles, and like I
Yes.
completely forgot to,
You can rename them. like
yeah, you
that.
can rename them, but I usually have to go back and rename a bunch, for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, man.
Spencer, the answer is Linux.
That
We
is
pretty
not
much
the
all
answer.
work on Macs, and then some streaming on PCs.
Yeah.
And then gaming on Linux.
No, on PS4. Yeah.
Console.
Console.
I'm the only Linux user you could tell, but yeah.
iPhone.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Moto Z3 Play with the attachable projector and Polaroid printer. Come on,
Jesus.
guys.
Jesus.
4-year-old Samsung Galaxy Prime or something. With a cracked screen.
I just watch Twitch because I have no time to play.
Team Pixel. Yeah,
Yes,
Yes.
Spencer Gento is amazing. Yes,
Pixel.
and the portage
That's awesome.
system is really good.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yes.
All right, Waldo, let's hear your story, bro. Waldo, bro.
Ooh, can I tell the start of it?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So Waldo and I were roommates in college for a bit, and in the middle of the night, it'd be like 11 p.m. He had a day job, so he was like working and everything. But then, late at night, he'd still be on his computer designing these websites. And at first I was like, what are you doing, man? Like, go to bed. And he's like, dude, no, check this out. I made this website. And at first I was like, oh, this is cool. This is a website. But then I was like, oh, this is a website that moves around and does cool things. And then he's like, yeah, and it's responsive too. I was like, I know what that means. And he kept making these awesome websites. And I don't know if you guys checked out his code pen, but Waldo's really made some awesome interactions, animations, a super cool hamburger menu, a radio menu that's also super cool too.
Homer Simpson.
Yes, with a donut.
Yeah.
Right?
That took like 30 minutes and was on a phone call with Bart.
Oh
So
my God.
when I made that.
So he was making all this cool stuff, and he was getting like super interested in them. And this is the part where you can tell the rest.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was going to go back before
How did you hear
then.
about Webflow?
Oh yeah, so I was at an advertising agency just out of college. I was an assistant account executive intern.
What up, Peter?
That's a
What's
lot
up,
of
Peter?
it's a
Yes.
lot of words for a title.
Yeah, it was a very long title. For
What was it
doing.
one more time?
Assistant account executive intern.
Assistant to the executive.
Exactly. Assistant to the executive intern.
How long is that business card?
There wasn't a
It
business
wraps
card.
around to the back.
And like my manager is like, hey, we're gonna have to let you go. And I was like, no. And I've been working on a bunch of like WordPress sites or Symfony websites, and then our UX designer Daniel Green. I don't know if he's watching this. He might watch it later, but he was like, no, join us as like our digital producer intern. So then the next day I came back as a digital producer intern. And worked with the digital team, and worked on a bunch of websites. Learned that I loved working in web design. I studied marketing management, logistics, supply chain management in college. Let's see. Then from there, I built my first website. It was in Squarespace. It was for a skate park, and I'd done the photography. I was super geeked out, and they're like, these photos are like 4 megabytes. And I was like, what? So I totally could Command Alt Shift S to save for the web. It's a legacy keyboard
Yeah.
shortcut there. And finally learned to resize images. That was a critical step in my growth period. No, but Daniel sent me a link to Webflow when it was on like Hacker News. Yeah, it was on Hacker News, and it was a CSS playground.
Yes.
And yeah, I like played around with it and was like, holy cow, this is crazy. And I signed up, and the first thing I did was like put in a background of a skate park image, and I found a PNG of a skateboard wheel, and I had to animate it. I was like, I'm gonna make it roll from this side of the screen to that side of the screen when I hover over it. Very challenging to make a hover effect that moves. That was the first thing I wanted to do, and yeah, that was a struggle. But then I figured it out eventually. Then my buddy was like, "Hey, we need some help with our website."
See you, Ben.
See you, Ben. Have a good one.
Hi, Peter.
What's up, Peter?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Gosh.
Good morning from Webflow.
Yeah, I'm a much better written communicator, so I'll have a blog post coming out about this soon.
So what was your journey to getting hired?
Oh, so my journey, okay, so I was working as a digital media specialist. After that, I was building landing pages in Webflow pretty much every day, as well as coding emails. I didn't think I'd ever code emails. Coded a whole lot
So
of
many.
responsive emails at that.
Very cool looking ones.
Yeah, that was fun. Learned a lot about tables and carpentry, basically. For any email developers out there. So yeah, then what happened? Nelson, or I was talking to Nelson. Okay, I got on the forum, and I had a question about something, and was like, "Yo, I got this question." And I saw a bunch of other people had questions. I was like, "I know the answer."
Yeah.
And I love helping people. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
Serving. So I started responding to people, and then I got super geeked out about Pixel Geek on the forums. Nelson.
You should see the
I didn't-
tattoo.
What?
There's no
Where-
tattoo.
okay.
The cake is a lie. But yeah, so just started helping out on the forum. Then eventually, we were gonna move to St. Louis, and that would mean like a 4-hour commute, which wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I told them like a year in advance, like, hey, I need a new job, or I need to be able to work remotely,
Yeah.
and that wasn't an option at the time.
Oh.
And I was like pretty bummed out. But anyways, I got like super into Webflow. I built like my first website, youfoundwaldo.com, for myself, and I built one for Leah Quinn, who's like Quaint Inc. So I did like a bunch of freelance projects.
Yeah.
And just like fell in love with Webflow. And that Quaint Inc. site was like my first CMS based site, and it was right as the CMS was launching.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to launch it till I think actually started at Webflow, or like right after I left. Yeah.
And then Will.
Oh, okay. So kept talking, or just helping on the forum. Like literally on my lunch break,
Yeah.
I'd be on the forum, like talking to people in the community, and being like, "Oh no, you just have to set its position relative for that absolute element to actually stay inside the box," or like literally on my phone. And gosh, from there, what happened?
What was that moment? Like someone Will contacted you, or
No, it was.
Vlad?
Well, you and I had a call. I was talking to Anna Sabatini,
Yeah.
who's one of our QA engineers, and she was it was Webflow experts back then, which is now community moderators on the
Yeah.
forum. And I was like, I want to do that. Like, and she's like, yeah. And I mean, we went back and forth forever, and then I was like applying to work for Dollar Shave Club, and then like the same day I had my first interview with them, I had a call with Nelson to officially join as like it was a Webflow expert then.
Yeah.
And get the tag and the badge on the forum. I was like, yes, I'm so excited. And from there, back then there's just the Webflow Slack channel. I joined the Slack channel, and I was able to like message Vlad directly. So, but one day I was just sitting at my desk talking to someone about JavaScript in emails, which doesn't make sense. And anyways, it's about like pulling in dynamic data basically and making a fire. But anyways, we're having a conversation, and I see a Slack message from Vlad, and it was like, hey, would you ever consider working for Webflow remotely? And it was the first time I like hung up on someone, and I felt like terrible for doing that, but I was like, I can't.
Were you
I like, I'm sorry.
Fades out.
Like, I don't do that. I was ecstatic. Like, it blew my mind.
So were you like mid-sentence or like,
Yes.
and then you're like,
I mean, I didn't know what I was
I'm
talking
sorry.
about JavaScript. I was like, I don't know exactly what my words were, but basically at that point, I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Super stoked. And
The rest is history.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then I went out to SF on a secret mission. Didn't tell anyone. It was my first time in San Francisco, and taking an Uber or Lyft and staying in an Airbnb. I didn't know what that was. Yeah, that was fun. Yes. Yeah.
Great story.
Rest is history.
Yeah, crazy.
Still a young and fresh team though.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're
It
the
is.
longest serving member here.
Yeah.
No,
Dave-
oh,
Dave's
here.
the longest.
Yeah.
Well, but here,
Mhm.
I'm the longest
Yeah.
serving one
Yes.
for 3 years. But Dave is the grandfather of our team.
Yeah. Dave.
But I feel like
For
he's the
4 years.
youngest in heart in our
Yeah,
team.
yeah, completely.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave is a monster when it comes to answering tickets. He answers so many tickets.
Yeah, Dave's awesome.
Welcome, by the way.
That's Jay.
Hello.
That's Jay, and he's from Korea.
Hi, Jay.
Hello.
Hi, Jay.
Wait, aren't you Korean? No.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Full Korean.
Ah, yes. Yes. Can you read the
I can. It says, I want to understand the conversation.
his name?
Oh, nobody here speaks
Yes.
Korean, do they?
Yeah.
Does it, because I did Google Translate, J designer, it does it, or does it mean something else?
Awesome.
You think I can read from that far away?
But you can read, I want to understand.
Yeah, that has better anti-aliasing.
Oh God.
All right, it's Nelson's
All right,
turn.
Nelson's turn.
My turn.
I do want to give props to Nelson before you go. There's a precursor to him
Mhm.
because his streams are awesome.
Oh.
I don't know if any, I'm sure you guys all binge watched. We were talking about this earlier, but I left a piece out of my story. Nelson is actually one of the biggest influences that I had during the time when I was trying to learn Micah too. Like as I'm like learning Webflow, like not only just like it's one thing to know about like client stuff, it's another thing to like just know the basics, but like how to tie it all together and build something awesome in like in a conversational way, and not just like just reading straight technical stuff. And it was just super inspirational. So thank you, man.
Yes, thank you.
You're
Nelson.
awesome. Keep it up, awesome to you. What's your story?
I mean, the story, I mean, goes back all the way to let's go all the way back to when I was like in 10th grade, where I was so jazzed up about this thing called HTML. I was so, it's like
Hotmail?
Oh yes. No.
Bye, Riley.
Bye, Riley. Good night.
But I actually was so excited that like there was no one else in my high school that knew this HTML thing, and I wanted to find other people who are like so jazzed up about HTML, because I was like, this is a cool thing. You can make cool things on the internet. And so you know what? I'm gonna make people like it. So I went to my computer teacher and I said, can I teach HTML today? And she's like, oh, I can work by just doing nothing, and this person wants to teach the class? Go for it. And so I'm like, HTML, writing on the board. And so it got me jazzed. And so like you fast forward to today, I'm inspiring people. It's only because I wanted to meet other people who are crazy about web design, and then so that's why I'm like, whenever I'm with the crew, I'm going nuts. Like, holy crap, this is fun! I get to hang out with all these web designers and people who want to learn more about the web. Same thing on the forums, and just same thing everywhere. Now, for my Webflow story. In July 2013, I went to a web design conference, and next thing you know, they were talking about new tools about Webflow, and so I overheard about Macaw and Webflow and some other tools. I signed up for Macaw and Webflow, but they weren't out yet; they weren't launched. But Webflow was the only one that sent me an email back saying, "Here's your closed beta code," and I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot, whatever. And I was at work at the time, and I played with it, and after 1 hour, I'm like, what is this? This is amazing! And just like how I was when I was in 10th grade, I gotta tell people all this. I gotta share this with the world. Have you learned about Webflow? So I went to Reddit, and I posted, Webflow is the thing.
Yes.
He was knocking on doors on
Yeah.
Sunday.
And my wife would get like every time I have a chance to talk about Webflow, I talk about it, and she'd get annoyed by it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, if you don't want to hear it and Reddit doesn't want to hear about it, you know what? I will go on the forums and help people there because those are now my new friends that we're all just rejoicing together. And then that's where I met Bartosz too. He was the JavaScript ninja.
Yes, JavaScript Ninja.
At the time.
Yes.
And
He's still
next thing you know, after helping on the forums, I'm like, no, I need to tell more people. Let's go to meetups and learn how to public speak so I can tell people about this. And I kid you not, my first meetup speaking thing, there was 6 people there. 2 people left in the middle of my talk.
Oh.
And so, and then one was the host that was still there. Another was a person who became a really good friend of mine. And the other 2 was my wife and her friend. They just came for support. So it was
What's up,
like,
John? Hey, John.
"Hey, John." And I dressed up like really nice. And I like had the elbow pad type of a business suit and everything. I was like, yeah, I'm ready for this. And it kind of made me sad that people left, but I was like, no, I must tell more people. So I kept going to meetups and telling people about it. And then
Don't leave Nelson streams in the middle. It makes him sad.
Yeah.
Stay
watch
till
the
end.
recording.
Yeah, watch the recording.
But after that, I was like, no, more people need to know. Let me start a YouTube channel about it. And Vlad actually recently validated that I made the first Webflow fan YouTube video.
Nice.
So I'm like, holy crap.
OG.
So
Yeah.
2.5 years
Overall.
of doing that on my free time and during lunch, like Waldo, helping out. It's like it came full circle because that's when Vlad emailed me and asked if I wanted to join the team. And yeah, and just that same feeling like Waldo. It's like you don't know what to do with your life when you get that message from Vlad. You're like, what?
I forgot
The
it.
words?
I had to retype my response like 8 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. And so it was and that's my Webflow story. So what I'm doing for you guys right now by helping, inspiring you guys is exactly what I've been doing ever since maybe 10th grade when I found out about the whole HTML. And now I get to geek out with you guys.
And welcome what looks like some Muse refugees.
Oh, John Ramos, I think we know each other from Muse, right?
Well, now you know each other from Webflow.
Yes.
Nice, Steven.
Nice, Steven, that's awesome.
I'm giving my first
Let us
demo.
know if we can help in any way.
Yeah.
man.
Steven
Yeah,
says I'm
send
giving
me
my
a-
first demo of Webflow.
Twitter DM. My DMs are open.
Oh,
Send you some
yeah,
swag and
yeah.
all that. Yeah.
Awesome. Go, send us a link to it or whatever.
First time I heard about Webflow was in an interview with Vlad.
Ah,
Nice.
yes.
Oh, the future. Yeah.
Nice.
Future, yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
dude.
awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy how a lot of people still say, and I totally get it, like, this Webflow thing can't be right. It's too easy.
Yeah.
No, it's too easy to make a website. Come on. Come on. And it's like, no, it's
Dynamic.
it's real.
Yeah.
It-
Changed my life.
It changed my
I didn't
life
know how
too.
to code. Like,
Yeah.
I learned how to code because I used Webflow. But I'd much rather build a website and write code. Yeah.
So let's see, awesome stories. 1 a.m. in
Carolina.
South Carolina.
Ooh,
Wow, thank you.
wow.
David.
Yeah.
Hope you're safe from the hurricane, David.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
Yeah.
Yes.
I understand.
Yeah.
Oh, great stories, guys.
Yeah, that's
Thank you
fun.
so much.
Do you all have any questions for the success team?
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
about how we work, how we look at bugs and issues, why we give answers on the forum that don't have signatures except for mine.
More our favorite flavors of ice cream.
Yes.
Nice.
Who has the most stylish red pants?
Yes. Who hates wearing pants? I hate this guy.
Shorty.
Who likes when he wears pants? This guy.
And who forgot she was halfway into her pajamas when the podcast started.
Yeah, I just pressed stream, and you're like, wait, what? We're
Yeah,
live?
like, oh, okay, here we go.
Can't move now. Yeah. So the grid.
Oh yes.
Holy. Yeah. F. It's the craziest thing. So
it's not even fair. It's like, wow.
It's what I thought Webflow was going to be when I first jumped into the designer, as someone
Yeah.
that didn't know how to code.
Yeah.
I knew how to move things around.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But we all saw a demo last week.
Blue.
And when we
I
saw
get
the demo.
goosebumps. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I was
Honestly,
like,
it's gonna
you
change the
can
web.
do that?
Yeah.
And then you can
Yeah.
do the thing with the response and then the
Yes.
the
The crazy thing is, the same excitement I had when I first hit publish and was like, what? I just made this responsive website. That same what? While we were watching the demo, we were all the same way. Get out.
Linda, you're a magician.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Yes.
Linda's gonna be on the stream tomorrow.
Yes.
So tomorrow, another reason why I'm up here. Yes.
Happy birthday, Linda! Oh, yeah, happy birthday, Linda! If you're
Today?
watching,
Today's her birthday.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's Linda's birthday.
yes. Happy birthday, Linda. So Linda is our product manager, and she's leading the charge on Grid, and she will be on the stream, on the official Webflow stream tomorrow. YouTube.com/Webflow. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome because we're gonna be streaming from Webflow headquarters, and she's gonna be giving you the demo. And there's
Yes,
already
it will, Spencer.
It will.
Grid is gonna change my life. Well, Grid is changing lives already.
Yeah.
Grid in Webflow is gonna change society.
It's like what waffles did to pancakes.
What?
Yeah, that was spot on. You get a high five. Yes. Andrew gives great high fives. By the way.
Oh my god.
I'm done.
Yes. What time's the stream tomorrow?
Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific. YouTube.com/Webflow.
Yes,
Or
be
just
there.
follow us on Twitter.
Or B square? No.
Oh.
No.
Are we gonna have all these
Yes,
Yes.
yes, Daniel. Although you can use Flex inside Grid.
Yes.
Yeah, so Flex will still be there.
Yeah. So you're still gonna use all
You
of
can
the
do
grid,
both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So my wife-
that's right. PB and J.
Exactly.
So my wife said something that kind of blew my mind because I was like, wait, is that right? So she said, Grid. So she said, so you're saying Grid is like for layout, whereas Flex is for alignment.
Yeah.
Would that be true?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, there's even more to it.
Yeah.
There's more. It's more complex. That's a very simple way to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
Look at it.
what?
It's like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your HTML structure is so clean with grid.
Yeah.
Like,
Now who cares about code?
semantic. Well, it makes it so clean. And
Yeah.
like for screen readers and accessibility, like,
Oh yeah.
you can organize everything and it'll be laid out differently on the page. Like, how do you want your design to look? But when someone else is like not able to see everything, they're able to take in the content. So
Hey, Mr. Create, your YouTube vids are very.
Oh,
very
Mr.
good.
Create!
And kind of to on that point, with things like what Webflow is doing, it's allowed me to kind of step into the realm of like accessibility. Before I spent so much time just trying to get things to work. Like by the time I would get to accessibility, we were talking about SEO, but I couldn't get to SEO. Like I'm still trying to get my page to work. You know? So it's like that's what I think Webflow is allowing is that we have now allowed the bar for people for entry to be so much higher to where like accessibility will be now the questions that will come into business meetings about because everybody can build the website now. So now we need to make sure the accessibility is correct. Now we need to make sure the SEO and all the other business metrics are complete.
Analytics and all that.
So yeah, so that's why I'm like super geeky.
Dude, that's a
about it.
great point, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely true.
democratizing.
Yes.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, tomorrow it's gonna bring duct tape for your head.
Actually,
'cause-
wear a helmet.
Yeah, wear a
That's right,
helmet.
Can you pass mine over here?
No,
I don't need it right now.
Yeah. Wear a helmet
I'll be
for
wearing
tomorrow because you got
Yes.
your mind's gonna blow.
Yes.
Webflow is the Tesla of web design.
Flexbox game?
I approve of that.
Flexbox game.
Yes. Flexboxgame.com. Have fun.
So yeah.
Dude, yeah, for sure. Agree, Spencer.
Yeah, Spencer says I spent years learning web dev.
Webflow
Actually taught me
Good value.
concepts I would never visualize in my head. So
Do
simply
it.
Flexbox made sense once I played with it in Webflow. Yep. And Webflow flamethrower. Oh, like the like the boring
Tesla's.
company.
Yeah.
The boring company. Yeah. Should we get some?
That is a good point though, Spencer. The box model and collapsing margins are very unintuitive to learn if you don't come from like a CSS background and you don't really think in a coding way.
Yeah.
And like looking at exported code or just playing around inside the designer, that's actually what made me understand how margins and padding and all these different settings allow you to position elements. Yeah, Webflow is awesome for that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's visual.
Yeah.
Great way to learn.
Just like flamethrowers.
Just like flamethrowers.
Well, and stories. And what else? So grids coming, and
You'll have something to check out pretty soon.
what? No, don't say anything.
He meant e-commerce like
He's so
check out.
drinking, like, let me shut up.
Don't worry about it.
That was a good pun. I'll give you the pun dog emoji for sure.
We have a lot of custom emojis in our Slack
Oh
channel.
god,
Yes, we
too
do.
many.
I love emojis, so I use them a lot.
We each have like our signature emojis that we use most
Party
frequently.
emoji.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
You're the
love-
one who
I love
uses
the
the
dancing
green
green
heart the
heart.
most.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Oh,
dancing
yeah.
cat.
You use
dancing
the
cat.
hugs teddy bear and the dancing cat the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nelson does a lot of thumbs ups.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just like, yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Brandon, what's Brandon's?
This talking about the pullover hoodies.
one?
Oh, Spencer wants
I think it's
pullover.
Webflow Heart. I use
Oh
Webflow
yeah,
Heart.
Webflow Heart.
Webflow Heart.
I want to
Webflow
put
Heart.
over
We're so
hoodies.
happy from those Rage comics.
Oh yeah, it is getting cold in Seattle.
Pull over these.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know what the stock is like.
Can we just
Come to
send
San
you,
Francisco.
Come to SF.
can we send you a sticker and then you put it on your hoodie? Is that
Perfect.
Maybe we can make little Webflow patches. That'd be
Oh,
dope.
yeah. Yeah. And the quality of the Epicurrence patches.
Yes.
And tattoos, Webflow tattoos.
That,
Yes.
Wolf Oh, we should have
The
showed.
winter is coming here too.
yes.
Yeah, black hoodie, gray logo. So darn.
Yes.
All right. I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been
You guys
streaming
have
for
any
an
Thank you
hour.
all.
Yeah.
It's great to see you.
We're gonna wake up tomorrow morning and answer your
Yes.
questions.
Yes.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
See you tomorrow,
Set.
10 a.m.
Yep.
YouTube.com/Webflow app. Be sure to subscribe to Waldo. Wait,
That's it.
any of
Oh, for
you
review.
access Webflow expert app? Can I pay in beer or flowers?
Bribery is not accepted.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, he
we
wants to be
review
a
them.
Webflow expert.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. What's your YouTube channel? Oh, they
Oh,
didn't
I'm
give
still
you the
working on
link.
that. I'm trying to switch from Waldo Brewdrink to
Webflow.
or Webflow with Waldo.
Yeah.
But there's a very challenging thing to do there with the product. It's not going well.
Oh, okay, I'll put your
Just
link
struggle.
in the
Yeah.
description.
Just DM me on Twitter if you want stickers, Webflow swag.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Yeah.
guy.
Thank you guys.
You guys are open.
You guys are
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.
You're a rock.
Bye.